All right, welcome to the Rotated Views podcast. This is episode number 8. We are absolutely short-staffed tonight, but we are strolling through. I have Heck and I have Gabe with me, and this theme for today is called Are You Paying Attention? And in this episode, we will discuss the daily distractions, texting and driving, the attention span of kids, social media, and funny stories of not paying attention. And we will wrap this episode up with quotes from Reggie Watts and Brandy Norwood. So, with that being said, we like to kick things off with a story. So, this was actually an experience that I had. I was at the doctor's appointment, and at the front desk, there was 2 receptionists. One was attending me, and the other one was attending an elderly woman. Well, the receptionist was attempting to ask the elderly woman, but received no answer. The elderly woman just stares at her, bobbing her head. So the receptionist waves her hand in front of her and spoke up to get her attention. "Ma'am, can you please remove your headphones? I need to ask you a few questions to verify your appointment." The elderly woman seemed startled, as if not to even notice she had headphones on. She apologized and removed the headphones, kind of like in a bitter manner. So I'm getting squared away at the doc's office, but I witnessed this, which I'm going to also jump in and kind of piggyback both stories together because this all literally happened in one day. So later that day, I went to Dunkin' Donuts for a cup of coffee. There was a mother with her daughter in front of me in line. The mother asked the daughter what she wanted. The girl didn't respond. The mom stared at her, waiting for an answer, but nothing. So the mom says, "You don't want anything?" The girl doesn't respond. So the mom goes ahead and orders her coffee and is about to pay when the daughter hits her mom in the arm, slightly out of anger and surprise, and says, "Mom, I wanted a donut." And the mom then turns to the daughter and rips out her earbuds from her ear and says, "You would have heard me if you didn't have these on." And again, the girl seemed startled and confused as to why in the world her mom was frustrated. She ordered her donut as if the whole thing was her mother's fault. Both these stories this had to do with headphones specifically, which is kind of weird, but both people were not paying attention. The crazy thing about the girl at Dunkin' Donuts was I can literally hear her music. So I'm like, how loud is this in your own ear?
Yeah.
So she gets mad at her mom, though. The music's booming in her ear, and she's getting mad at her mom because her mom didn't ask her. Well, she didn't hear her mom ask her.
She didn't hear her mom
He didn't
ask her.
hear her mom ask her.
Yeah, and just like the lady at the
It's the mom's fault, though.
Yeah, and just like the lady at the doctor's office, she almost looked mad. She's standing there with and this lady. I'm not even kidding you. Was probably about 80 years old. I'm not even kidding.
Listen to Wheezy.
I have no idea.
she had her Beats from Dre.
No. She had earbuds, like Apple earbuds.
Wasn't like talking on the phone, right?
Was not talking on. No. She was like had both of them on, and after she was kind of got startled, I like overheard the conversation. She was saying, she was listening to what kind of song or whatever. She was listening to Whitney Houston or something. I remember hearing Whitney Houston, and I'm like, but hold on. My thing is, you're there to set up this appointment and get things squared away. Yeah. What are you doing just standing there listening to music? Same thing. You're at a business and you're ordering a donut or a coffee and you're just listening to music. Like there's not like a care in the world.
No.
I work at a hospital. I mean, I've mentioned that before, but I do cover the front desk and I do cover on the phones, and it's crazy like how much people don't pay attention to when they come in, they sign in, they sit down, and then don't pay attention to anybody calling their name because
they're probably too busy playing their phones or doing like something simple.
Some people just sit there and literally just don't pay attention, like in La La Land, because like
in a zone.
There's times like because you have to pull the name, you have to call them out, whatever.
Yeah.
Literally, you call 3 or 4 times before you move on to the next person. And then it's funny when that person you called like literally 4 times walks up to your desk and says, "How come nobody called me?"
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
it's your fault
now.
All bent out of shape.
Exactly. It's like, why is nobody calling me when somebody called? Like, usually that name gets passed on to one of the other people at the front desk too, and it takes sometimes 3 people for somebody to come up to the desk. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's like it's ridiculous how.
What do you think people are so distracted by?
I have no idea.
Well, obviously,
social media, music.
Two,
It's so easy now to have that on the palm of their hands. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You see it everywhere. The one day I went to Wawa and the lady was like, "Sir, I'll help you next." And it was some kid. He was just like on his phone, but like looking up. You know, like when you get to the register, there's like I don't even know what the heck is up on the top where the cigarettes are, but the opposite side of that.
Oh.
He was like sitting there looking up, but he's on the phone. He's just like looking up, and the lady's like, "Sir, can I help you? Sir, you're next." And I'm like, dude, yo, I tapped him on the shoulder. I'm like, dude, you're next. Like, go. What are you doing? You're not paying attention to anything, but you're on the phone. I don't get it. You're next.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Like, why are you on the phone while you're in line? You're on a conversation. Just tell that person to hold off for a second.
I just went to the bank on Friday, and it was the same thing. They have a sign that says,
No cell phones.
yeah, like no cell phones
Yeah,
are
no
like,
talk
I
on the
forget,
phone or
what the wording was, but it's basically saying don't be like,
Yeah.
try not to be on your cell phone while the teller is, giving you their attention.
And it's funny too. We have signs in the lobby that say that, and obviously nobody pays attention to that. so.
Clearly, no one's paying attention so much that establishments and businesses have to make up signs that say "pay attention."
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, hey, that's the reason why there's so many signals and signs for us when we're driving.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there was one time me and my wife were going to a restaurant, and there was this intersection. It's like a 5 points almost, where all the lights went out.
Oh man,
Dude, it looked like it was the end of the world. Like, you know how like people just go
Yeah.
nuts.
just go, yeah.
Like, there
People
was
just start driving
yeah,
through,
there was
through
just
the
like
blinking
dude,
lights. And,
five, almost like everyone wanted to go at the same exact time. It was no order to anything,
No.
completely chaotic, and
So
I think it
ridiculous.
might have just went out for a whole 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and it was like everything
Chaos.
was upside down already.
Because it's
People
funny
don't
too
have-
when some of those lights are out and they actually put up sometimes they put up like a temporary stop sign.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
still
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
pay attention to that. They still
Yeah.
drive right through and
Like that's temporary. That doesn't apply.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, why don't they pay attention? Even if it's a flashing yellow light,
They don't know
so
what it
typically,
is.
Yeah, typically it's like one side is yellow and the other side's red. So somebody's got to yield while the other person's
And-
actually stopping.
And that becomes a stop sign essentially. When people just want
But
to
people
fly
just
through.
want to go through. Like, oh, this is optional. Let's keep going.
Exactly.
Like,
That's it.
okay,
It's like, oh, I have the right of way because it's not working.
because I'm straight. I don't have to turn or anything, so I got the right of way.
But so you think it's cell phones?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
'Cause cell phones are wild now, man. These whatever the smartphones I'm referring to anyway. There's literally the world is literally at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's true,
it's
though.
True.
like,
And it's definitely added to the not paying attention because you're constantly looking at everything else
It's a
in the world.
distraction. It's
Yes.
one of the biggest distractions. You have access to, videos and social media and text messaging and phone calls, even phone calls. They came up with a brief solution with like the hand-free headphone like things or whatever, but at this point it doesn't matter. People are texting and they're on social media and they're watching
it's pretty
videos,
bad.
cracking up while driving. I'm like, what is going on anymore? These people.
cell phones are out of control.
No. Cell phones are not out of control.
No, okay, it's a user.
People are
User.
the people using the cell phone are
So
out
you
of
have
control.
You have a babysitter that's supposed to be watching this baby. Child is maybe a year old,
Right.
year and a half maybe. Well, the babysitter's too busy on the phone, so they don't know where the baby's at. They come outside to the door, and the baby got a red crayon and is scrabbling all over the bathroom door. It's amazing, amazing. That's where their heads are at.
All right, so talking about people not paying attention, has there ever been a time where you were caught not paying attention? And explain.
I can say a time I was deliberately not paying attention.
Wow.
Wait, so there are we have to take that into consideration that people are deliberately not paying attention. But anyway, that's a whole.
Well,
Go
'cause,
ahead.
like in high school, I might have mentioned before that like we had like majors and stuff like that. So the major I guess picked, it's more geared towards like kind of computerish, and like I had to take like a physics type course. It was like elementary
Yeah.
physics or something, and
You
it
were
was
in high school and you took elementary physics.
It was like super basic. It was like, but it was like literally like the formula for like work,
Gotcha.
and it was literally the only thing you ever really had to use in that class, and the minor variations.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was like at some point it was like I just said screw it, and I was just like actually half the time I slept at the class. But he used to go around just ask questions or whatever, and actually one time, like actually a few times, he would just call on me. I'll just like essentially wake up, answer the question, and go right back to sleep.
Was there anyone else in this class?
Yeah, half the people probably weren't paying attention anyway, and the guy was like super monotone too. So it was like it didn't help but add you want to go to
But
sleep
make you go to
anyway.
sleep.
It was
So,
really
so do
easy.
you think that he went home like ticked off that half the kids were?
No, I don't think so. Because
Now, was it just you, or was there a group of
a
people?
lot of us got to the point where just like you didn't care. Almost.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So heck, don't you have a story here?
I do. It's not even actually about myself. So when we were younger, we used to ride our bikes on the trail. In the town we lived at, it was called the trail or the path. And we would ride our bikes back there all the time. So the one day, my younger brother Jim decided he was going to hang out with us and follow us on his bike.
That's me.
So we're riding bikes. Now, mind you, the path was, I don't know, maybe 4 feet wide. So, 2 bikes, it was enough for traffic for like bikes and people walking. It wasn't like big enough for a car. So we're taking a path, and he ended up going onto the other side where the cars would park, because it would be like a parking section and then the actual path section. So we were talking, driving down the path, and Jim is completely not even paying attention. He's paying attention to me, actually. I'm talking to him, and he's just talking back and forth.
And
I
looking
yell
sideways.
He's looking sideways, like he's turning, like he's
So
not
we're
even looking
parallel
straight.
to each other.
Yes,
So Heck
yes.
is actually on the path, and I'm actually in a parking lot.
Yes,
That was
but they were parallel. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're riding, and we're going straight. Now, mind you, I'm looking straight, but yet talking over to my left side of me, where Jim's at, and he's completely has his head turned to the right, looking at me, talking to me. So next thing you know, we're riding, and I was like, Jim, and it was too late. He hits. I can picture this right now. He hits this like median. It's on the
It's a wooden median.
a wooden median.
That's basically supposed to stop
Cars from entering into the
from
grass.
entering into the grass.
So all I see he rides the bike. The front tire goes right underneath. It gets stuck. He flips. The bike flips, and he flips forward. I was oh,
and
my
I cracked
goodness.
at this time. All right, I had plastic 5-star rims. I thought they were so cool. I cracked the plastic.
So those of
rim.
you out there remembering in the 80s, the 5-star plastic rims? We thought they
5-star
were dope.
plastic white rims.
Yes, and he ended up busting that, and I laughed because it was hilarious how it happened, like in slow motion, but I felt bad at the same
now
time.
that you're saying it, I almost could like feel my neck like just
Whiplash?
like that. Oh,
Dude, that
man.
was so. I don't even know what the heck the conversation was. It had to been that important. 'Cause
Obviously,
you're
it
paying
was
attention.
definitely important.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was my story. I mean, I was a part of it, but
Well, thanks. You were a part of it, and that is part of my childhood there.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, I'm literally like thinking about it now. I'm like that was painful. Well, I think my ego was more hurt than anything. Well, talking about bike stories, but there's this one time this guy Heck, who thought he was Mr. Fix-It, he replaced the tube in his tire, filled it up and whatever. So he was showing off. He's such a show off that at the time this guy had a pink bike. And
white handlebars.
he comes out of our driveway and into the alleyway. So I'm like, all right, like just riding his bike. He's like, oh, I fixed it. It's all fast, whatever. I remember it wasn't supposed to be done specifically or solely by him. He was supposed to have the double check. My dad was supposed to help. Well, he was so impatient that he fixed the flat himself. This dude never bolted on the wheel. So in a show-off mode, he does a wheelie, and the front wheel goes flying off. It literally just goes flying off. He lands, does a flip over the bike and all that.
Dude, I remember that. Oh my god.
So he didn't pay attention to screwing on the
So
front
he
wheel.
was not
Yeah.
paying
Guess
attention.
so.
He got
That's
way
it.
too
Yeah.
excited. Not paying attention. Oh, man, because this could just
Oh
be...
man, at school they had the most amazing French fries.
Yeah.
So the one day I would always sprinkle garlic on my fries. So I'm talking to my one buddy Steve. So I'm sitting there talking, not paying attention. I'm pouring the garlic. Dude, the cap from the garlic powder fell off. I had garlic all over my fries, and they still charged me for it.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
and
I would too.
So I had to shake off all the garlic.
Because you're
and-
not paying attention to what
right.
you're doing.
I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy talking and
Oh,
poured garlic
man.
all over my. So, A, I had garlic all over my fries. B, there was no more garlic for anyone else to use.
I
So-
remember. Speaking on what you were just saying, trying to add some seasoning onto what you're eating. I just remembered about a story where our girl cousin was dating a guy, and her dad, my uncle, he's like very intense. So he was like, I think he was kind of really messing with the dude, but he's just kind of staring at him like, whoa. So we just had eaten dinner and they ordered dessert. So we're at a restaurant, and so he's asking his kid all these questions, like bombarding him with
Give it a third
and this
degree.
dude was completely nervous. The kid, the boyfriend, was completely nervous, obviously, naturally. And so he's talking, he's answering all these questions. Dude, I see him pouring creamer into his coffee, and then he grabs the salt and puts it in his coffee. He wanted to grab the sugar, but he was so nervous, and not paying attention, he poured salt inside his coffee and then, took a sip at the same time. And I guess no one else noticed until he took the sip. And he's, and everyone started buzzing out laughing and whatever. But it was like the bitter, sweet. I don't even know if that's not even called, not paying attention or just completely a nervous wreck.
Yeah, that's more nervous. If you know my uncle, yeah, you would definitely be nervous with the 21 questions that he'll give you.
Oh.
And then you don't know if he's being serious or if he's joking.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of broke the ice for that kid.
Oh, that was it. Well, because then everyone started laughing, and then it was all comfortable after that. And then I guess
Yeah, and the kid just, he wasn't even angry about it. He just started laughing.
Well, everyone just started laughing. What do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I think we were at a diner anyway, so it was.
Oh, okay.
He just refilled his coffee or whatever.
Just give a new one.
New one, yeah.
I did something similar like that when I was younger. Like I was, like I got up to get like a bowl of like corn pops or something, and I put like the Sunny Delight at the same time.
Yeah.
And I poured the cereal. I had the milk there, and I grabbed the Sunny Delight and poured it into my cereal.
Oh,
and then didn't pay attention, so I actually took it away. I'm like, "Look, this is terrible.
You actually,
I actually
gosh.
ate one at least once.
Give it an attempt.
I'm like,
That's
what?
All right, I finished a bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I poured another one.
So, going back to the whole not paying attention thing, I know it's just me and Heck here that are dads, but so is there something that seems to take your kids' attention away so much that you have to place a time limit on it?
My kids are obsessed with their phones.
Yeah.
Complete obsession.
So how old are your kids?
So I have an 11-year-old, which is Bella. She's a little older, and she watches, I guess, like dance videos and stuff. She's actually pretty cool with it. Like she doesn't overdo it.
Yeah.
She kind of knows like her boundaries and does her FaceTime and stuff like that with her friends. No big deal. But Lainey, on the other hand, holy smokes. She was using the regular YouTube app. Okay. She was like obsessed with watching, she's watching like Shopkins or something. I'll tell them, oh, it's dinner time. And Lainey decides to bring the phone every single time to the dinner table. And I tell her, Lane, we're eating dinner. You put your phone down on the couch and just let it go until you're done. Fine, keeps going. Then it got to the point where she was just like, it was crazy because I didn't pay attention to what she was actually watching, but she was watching some crazy, like, mother giving birth to a child, and I'm like, what are you watching? What? Yeah, and then my wife found her watching like some EOS. EOS is like the chapstick that girls use, but I think it was like something edibles, and it was like kind of fresh-ish, and I ended up deleting the YouTube app and downloaded the Kid app, which is user-friendly for the kids and also for the parents.
Okay.
So she got really mad at me the one night because I set the limit till 10 o'clock. Well, I thought she was sleeping, and I was here, coming down the steps. Dad, my iPod doesn't work anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, Dad, I can't watch any videos. So I look at her YouTube, and it's marked out that her time limit was up. I had to put in my passcode to kind of let her access it for another hour. Like, if not, she would just go on and on and on and just watch videos all day. I'm like,
okay,
this has
there was
gotta
an
stop.
option for like a time limit for YouTube.
But it's a kid's YouTube
yeah.
version.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it's actually YouTube
Wow,
for kids.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually like really good because it allows that. So it's basically, you put in their age, and it gives you like the age group or a rough around, roundabout of stuff that will grab their interest.
First of all, YouTube is infamous for giving you suggested videos. I mean, there was one time I was looking up day trading, stock market, and wanted to learn a little bit about this, and all literally an hour later, I'm watching a koala bear eating eucalyptus.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how did I get here? Like, literally got lost. It ended up being a joke, like lost on YouTube again.
Well, yeah, and that's what I guess the
I
term
think
I've first heard is
I
like
think
the
that's
YouTube like rabbit holes like type thing.
Oh yeah, there you go. That is
Yeah,
perfect.
but don't they do that on purpose, like so that you can?
Oh, well, YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. But is she not paying attention when you're saying like at dinner, like she wants to bring it to
Yeah,
dinner?
she wants to bring it to dinner, and she like we'll go for a car ride, like to come to your house. She has to bring her phone to watch a video, and we try to tell her like, no, you stop that. I don't want my child to be that kid. Like, we go somewhere and their face is completely inside their phone, and they don't talk to anyone or don't like do anything with it. So we take her phone away from her just so that she can socialize with her sisters and go out and play and stuff. So
Well, I mean, that's like the whole thing where you go to the restaurants now and you look at a table and you see a bunch of
everybody's
glowing
staring at
faces.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is kind of, it's really sad actually, in a sense, to a certain degree, because the point of going out is the whole social thing where it's an interaction with, it's a face-to-face human interaction, which could never be replaced with any kind of technology. I don't think anyway. FaceTime comes pretty darn close. But I'm talking about like there's a difference between actually being in front of somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing now. Is like, especially it says that the more we become interconnected, the less we become actually social.
Absolutely. There's people all the time that you see, communicating with each other on social media and always posting stuff or whatever. And you go out in a real social environment and they're in a corner not talking to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know how
Or
to
you're
talk to
texting the
people.
person like 2 feet away from you.
Or you're texting a person. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know how to social. They don't know how to talk to anyone because they're so used to speaking to them by the phone or whatever it is they're using.
When you see a family out, what is the point of going out to dinner? I mean, you could have just did that and ate by yourself. And to people's defense, I'm not sure if they even have a grasp on this or in the beginning knew that the cell phone was going to take this much attention from them. I think they just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they got it like, okay, I'm going to bring this cell phone because it's going to distract me.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Now that we're seeing that it's almost like a gosh darn epidemic when we go out, now I think it's time for us to realize, like, all right, we need to, kind of chill out I know me and my wife here, when we're eating dinner, we don't bring the cell phones to the table. Of course, cannot stand still, so I get up, go do something, and it's just out of whatever. It's something that I'm, coping and learning to do. But our goal is to not be on our cell phones or be texting or anything while we're eating dinner. Dinner's for us to sit down, talk about each other's days,
actually pay attention to each other.
Have a genuine conversation and pay attention to each other and look at each other in the eyes and not answer by looking down and texting someone else and having multiple conversations. And it gets worse when you have the group text messages because it's like the inbox, they just start firing in. And it's almost like this thing where it's, even getting into like chat rooms and stuff like that. Perfect example. I'm into the personal development arena. And this has to do with not paying attention. But I attended a ton of webinars that if there's something, across the world I can't make it, they sell like alternate tickets or, for $10 you can watch it live or whatever. Yeah. Well, when they're showing these events live, there's a chat room.
Yeah, there's the chat room on the bottom.
Yeah,
on the side
bottom.
Or whatever.
But the thing is that there's thousands of people on here. So you're sitting there looking and reading what everyone's saying, and meanwhile, you paid for the event, not the comment section, but for somehow you get caught up reading all the comments or whatever.
You see like a conversation starting on
there.
So
You're kind of seeing, all right, well, is this guy going to answer him?
Yeah.
This guy asked a question and someone else, and there's always the knucklehead expert that's on there that's trying to out knowledge or
exactly
provide more wisdom than the presenter who's clearly like the most successful one.
The reason why you paid to get into there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's too busy reading other stuff. That does drive me nuts though.
But it's like you have to scroll down. So you're actually purposely making a decision to just read this chat room. And now I'm to the point now where they actually offer
you can minimize it,
you can minimize it, or I just move the screen where I literally don't even look at it. I just get easily distracted.
And that's the thing, like you said, there's always thousands of people in there too. It's like sometimes that thing moves so quickly. Like I don't know how you even pay attention to even some of that.
It's mesmerizing.
Or like how to like keep track of what people are
mesmerizing.
keep track of like what even people are saying in there, like in terms of like responses and all that stuff.
And there's also, by attending so many of these, there's also webinars that have these chat roles that are very, I guess, not to the best quality. But going back to, paying attention, at the dinner table, and I think in general, I guess striving for, or make it a goal to put the phones away when you're eating dinner, put the tablets away and actually pay attention to the conversation. I'm not sure if this is going to be like a growing thing, like our kids are going to be like, that's like a norm to them eventually.
I think, like as technology progresses, things are getting way more advanced in terms of now we carry a computer in our pocket now.
Yeah.
Like I heard something like what we have now is more advanced than what they went to the moon with. So, but like as stuff goes more progressive, more gets more interconnected. Yeah, who knows what the heck the dinner table's gonna look like? We're gonna be holograms in our bedrooms being dinner.
Well, yeah. And talking about that whole virtual reality kind of thing, is it gonna be to a point where it's like you don't even know what's real? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's jump into the what would you do segment. And I'm curious, What would you do if you're in a cab and a driver begins to text while driving you around?
I don't even know. That's
I would
crazy.
just straight up just like, dude, who are you texting?
Just get out the car.
No, yeah, I would just jump out of the moving vehicle.
There you go.
'Cause
a good
that's
way
safer.
To stop it. Yeah.
No, well, first of all, no, that there's a conversation that needs to go, whoa,
yeah, of
what's
course.
going on, bud? Hold on here.
Yeah,
What are we
absolutely.
doing here? Are we driving or are we texting? Which one's more important? Because I value my life more than that text message you're about to send. I'm sorry, but
Obviously,
that's
I'm paying
what
you
it
to
is.
get me somewhere. I need to go
Exactly.
safely.
This is a service, and it's definitely not to be going off the road kind of service either. You need to get from point A to point B in a safe manner. That's your job, and it's not texting. But having that actual conversation, if that like seriously happened though, there's seriously people driving in the street, and it's even more noticeable at night. You literally see a blue
Yeah, the
glow
glow.
on their face. They're literally texting and driving.
No, yeah.
That's just insanity.
Yeah, it's always funny when you see people driving by and they're like literally like looking down, not even like looking at the wheel. It's like, what in the world is even?
So you remember
You're
they
not making the effort to even like look in a direction of up.
the best part is that okay, so when cell phones came out, they made this big fuss about talking and driving.
Yeah.
But texting and driving is more dangerous than talking and driving. Like they
Well, I
said,
think when they came out with that, I don't even think you could
There was-
text normally. You had to
Right.
hit like one button 4 times just to get your one
just
letter.
get a letter out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like they made a big stink about driving and
They make
talking
a,
on the
they make a
phone.
big stink right now about texting and driving.
Well, yeah. I know that. I
But it
understand
was
that.
initially, it was mainly talking on the phone.
Yeah,
But
but
wait, the
I
funny
think
thing-
that was because the people had car phones, not just
Yeah.
phones
But
in
with
a
that
car.
too, like talking on your phone, like if you had your cell phone up to your ear, is the same as somebody in the car with you talking to you anyway. It's still a distraction, I guess.
Right. That's why. That's what I was
So
trying
that
to
part
get
of
at.
it-
Like, what was the purpose of that? Like, is it that
What?
did they prove that it was that much of a distraction while a cell phone was in your hand
Well,
while
I guess
you're
they felt
driving?
like you holding it, not holding onto the wheel. I guess that was
There
part
has
of
to
it.
be. Yeah, well, obviously, this is my guess that there was enough incidents / accidents that happened that they somehow figured out the person was on a cell phone or distracted. Going back to the original question, what are you doing? Are we driving or are we trying to
Yeah.
have a conversation with somebody? Just get to where you have to go, because no one could tell me, oh, it's an important text or whatever. First of all, a text message, in my eyes, how I see it, are less urgent than an actual phone call.
Yeah,
So
true.
if there's an emergency, you don't text 911, right?
No, right,
You call 911. So that leads me to say this text message can't be more important than your life or anyone else's life. Here's the other thing: people are like, "Oh, I'm safe. I'm real good at texting and driving. I'm super cool." My thing is this: it's not even you. It is you, but you have the level of ignorance, I would say, is you're putting other people into jeopardy now.
Yeah,
Now
absolutely.
it's like you being careless about your own life is one thing. Now you're just not. You have complete
care
disregard
about
for
anyone
everyone
else,
else that's
yeah.
on the road as well.
Right.
Because you never know what would randomly pop up in front of you. Because that's why you always have to constantly keep your
The
eye on
level
the
of
road.
arrogance
To think
is
that you're
so
nothing to-
high. Yeah. Well, also nature happens where all kinds of animals run out in the middle of the
Exactly.
street, and
Deer.
we're in their land that we plopped a piece of pavement on,
Sure.
and you think that,
Yeah.
oh well, we just put that there, so now they're just going to stay away. All right, so with that being said, that wraps up this episode of the Rotated Views podcast, episode number 8. Are you paying attention? In this episode, we discussed daily distractions, texting and driving, the attention span of kids, social media, funny stories of not paying attention. And we're about to wrap this episode up with quotes from Reggie Watts and Brandy Norwood. So for the first quote by Reggie Watts: "If you pay attention to the world, it's an amazing place. If you don't, it's whatever you think it is." And then the second one is from Brandy Norwood. I'm going to leave you guys with this one. "Your children can be around you all day, but if you don't spend quality time with them and you don't pay attention to them and talk to them and listen to them, it doesn't matter that they're just around you."
That's actually
wow.
pretty good. Yeah, that's
That's deep on multiple levels right there.
yeah. Wow.
Beautiful way to end the podcast. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.